excited about this week. It's another great opportunity for us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I was pleased with a lot of things we've done this past game, and there's a lot to learn from as well. So we'll do like we always do, is go in and watch this film from this Monday, see the good things we did and the bad, and try to get better. We need to play our best football this week against Louisville. They're a very good football team, as you know. Very well coached, very talented across the board. There's really not a weakness on that team. They're strong everywhere. They're very good defensively, extremely dynamic offensively, and so it'll be a challenge, but we're excited about it.
Really sort of, I guess, relief not having the whole thing going into this game.
I don't know if it's relief, but certainly it's better. Yeah, there's no denying that. Wish we were sitting at 7 or 8, but yeah, definitely better situation.
Do you expect Stephen to be back full at practice today and this week?
I do. Jim tells me that there was no setback yesterday when he came in and got his treatment, and there was no swelling, and came out of the game fine. So that was good to hear.
Does your Lamar have any, give you any inside information on their Lamar, and do you have any ideas on how to slow that guy down?
Well, I don't know if anybody has any real good idea how to slow him down. He's absolutely a phenomenal player, and what I admire most about Lamar Jackson is you could see his leadership and you could see his toughness. Just watching some of their games when you had an opportunity to watch throughout the year on TV and of course on film you don't see it as much, but on TV you could just tell how strong he is and what type of leader he is, and they are good across the board and they are well coached across the board, but when they need to play, he's there. And he'll either run it or throw it or make a good decision and will his team to win. So you have to have a lot of respect for somebody like that.
Speaking of which, what do you think it did for your team to have Stephen come off the bench, play hurt, and play well?
Yeah, I think a lot the same way in that regard of how, it's hard not to admire Stephen Johnson and see him play hurt. He's been banged up. He was hurt last week, and to see him come in and have the poise and the confidence, you could see that with the team. Threw a beautiful pass. I think that was his first pass, the one he laid it out there. So I think that was great for our football team, and it says a lot about who Stephen is. He's a tough guy, like I mentioned after the game, and he's a leader, and been very pleased with him.
Mark, you were pretty emotional after the win on Saturday in your own Youngstown kind of way. But what was that emotion due to? Was it due to the fulfillment of the promise you made to the players?
Well, I think, I was just trying to be honest. They asked me if I, how I felt, and I certainly don't want to show you anything, but it was, how can you not be proud of the football, from the players' point of view, and for them first, but for so many people, there's a lot that goes into the wins and losses behind closed doors. The progress we make, the progress we talk about, you see it, but again, I've made no bones about it. You get judged on wins and losses, and you have a fan base that is starving for wins and have been there and been loyal, and we want to build that fan base, and they deserve it. And in our administration, they've been through the good and the bad. One thing's for sure is Dr. Capilouto and Mitch Barnhart they've been there every step of the way. And you've heard me talk about that. You want to deliver. You want to deliver for those people. You want to deliver for your team, your players, your administration, your fan base. There's a lot of people involved, and there's an awful lot of hard work that goes into it, and it's tough. When you're building a program, and you're knocking down one door after another. It's not always going to go according to script. There's going to be some ups and downs, and you have to weather the storm, stay the course, stick to the things that are going to make a difference. And we've done that, and believe me, we know there's still a lot to do.
coach is good when they're going against another coach like Louisville has in Tito.
He's obviously a great play caller. There's no doubt about that. I think what stands out when you look at Coach Petrino and all the success he's had, there's a lot of offense there, and you could see how well they do in the second half of games. They score a lot of points, and I think they have a good way about seeing what you're doing and what the problems are and coming back to something else. So obviously, he's got a lot of offense, very good play caller, keeps you off balance, and obviously it doesn't hurt when Lamar Jackson, when things break down, he could kill you. So he's a dynamic player.
Can you use it in recruiting that Lamar Thomas was the guy who found Lamar Jackson or
I think I don't know. I mean, I don't, but I'm sure Lamar. People know, or maybe it comes up in conversations with him and recruits. I'm not sure, but it's not something that we're going to advertise much. But Lamar, those are things we expect. I expect him to find us one of those guys. Yeah. I told him that last week in a recruiting meeting. I was rattling his cage. I told him to find me somebody like that. So, yeah.
Mark, when you look at Lamar on film, how's he improved?
With experience, with playing, decision making, and he's an exceptional athlete. And I think we maybe we shouldn't have had all those interceptions at the beginning of the game last year, and we'd have kept him on the bench. Would have been the best thing that happened for us. So, but he's just he's improved in a lot of ways, and I think you could just see with like I talked about earlier with him, I think with the leadership and the toughness, but he's a complete player. He could throw the heck out of the football and sit in the pocket, but obviously he's an exceptional athlete as well.
That's right.
Friday.
What did you see about the way Houston sort of attacked them up front and was so successful, other than having sort of a dominant?
Yeah, the lead. It's a different game. I mean, you watched Louisville all year. They're number one in the country offensively for a reason, and they do things very well, and they keep you off balance. If you're fortunate enough to get that kind of lead, on them, it helps. But it's just one of those nights you could tell just when things weren't going well for Louisville and everything was going right for Houston.
Stands out about Louisville's defense.
Very well coached. Todd does a great job. They're very good. They're multiple. They have very good players. I'm familiar with quite a few of those guys, and they're good players and play extremely hard. But they'll play both four down and some odd, and they're good across the board.
Mark, you guys could be somewhat of a dangerous team. You're looking to rise above 500 for the regular season, and break the streak against Louisville, having lost, I believe, the last 4 games. So how dangerous is this team going into Louisville? Your team.
Well, we want to play our best football. We've talked about it every week, hopefully we'll put it together and play a great game this week. We're going to need to, but I feel good about our team. I feel good about where they're at mentally. Physically, they're in good shape. We go back to all the things we talked about in the summer and being strong at the end and mentally and physically be able to finish things, and they've been good. We've had great energetic practices, and that's the first thing I challenge them with every week is preparation. We got to have great preparation and great energy in our preparation, but then it comes down to focus, and you could see late in the year with a lot of teams, mentally, that mental fatigue, that's where you got to be mentally sharp, and I really feel like that we've been good in that, but there's a lot of ways to improve. Going back to some of the past 2-3 games, that's where they'll be challenged again of not growing weary and get stronger and really have a great week with that great energy. And we've been energetic. It's just being extremely disciplined. There's a lot of teams that come in. There's new wrinkles, new plays, new schemes, and you got to be able to settle down and just rely on your system and your focus to execute. And so that's we'll need that again with all the offense we're going to see. lot of different things. So we'll have to be disciplined.
Mark, who will be Lamar Jackson on the scout team for you guys?
We'll probably play A.J. Rose there.
Is he good? Would think he can give you a pretty good look? I know you guys.
I don't know if anybody can give you that kind of look, but as a runner, he can, yeah, when we're featuring some of that.
What do you see? This is the time of year we start to say,
Yeah.
who are those scout team guys that have jumped out? Is he one of those?
He's definitely one that we absolutely love. I think, he and Devontae are guys, Drake I've talked about, really look good. Guys that probably could have played some this year.
Big story that's kind of emerged this year is Saban's been using some of his former players. I didn't even know you could do that as
Yeah,
scout
but
team
that's a
guys.
good idea. We'll get Mo dressed up today.
Are there any of your guys?
That's a good idea. I'm going to tell Mo to go get his ankles taped. Yeah. The players would like that.
You guys took a little while to get your pursuit down and containment.
Yeah.
Ross and Pete. Does that help you in any way, or is it too different?
Yeah, I think it's different, but it's always learning opportunities. We talk about that all the time, but it's so true. Just like last week, everybody wanted to go out there and make every play and, think they're going to make every tackle or every sack and, every run's going to go for a big gain. And it's not about that. It's about, and we harped on it all week. And early, it was a little like that. And so we settled down and did what we were supposed to do. But I think that's another opportunity to learn from it.
Mark, other than the fatigue issues, taking the rivalry aspect completely out of the equation, is there anything special that the coaches face in regard to this being the very last game of the season?
Is there anything different that the coaches face?
Special challenges as a coaching staff?
No, it's just a lot of film. That's the only thing. The only thing different, I'd say. You're looking at an awful lot of film. So what you may see, what you may not see. You're trying to get all those things repped is impossible. So you have to zero in on, the core plays that you're going to see every week, and you're going to see a different wrinkle all the time as well.
The last couple of years, the game 2 years ago down there, with the stuff that went on before the game, and then back and forth during the game, swings, highs and lows. Same thing last year. First half you guys had, second half Louisville had. How do you prepare your team to be able to take those ups and downs and swings back and forth, especially in a rivalry game?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And again, you just take the experience from this year alone in all the different games, and even this past week. Because again, just like I touched on, I think, and I hit it on it all week about doing your job, and preparing the same way. We respect everybody, fear no one, and go out and prepare the exact same way, and focus on your job. But I think, you could say that all you want, and they get out there and they want to, and they mean well. They want to do the right thing, but it's not about that. And the same thing in this game. It's important to have intensity, but let's have it Monday through Friday as well. Let's prepare with that intensity. Let's prepare with that focus. Because after a few minutes in a game like that, I expect us to play with that energy all the time. And so, that distracts, and then you lose focus and negative things happen. So it's about being very precise with our focus and our discipline. And that's, again, easy to talk about, but it's different. I mean, these kids have emotions, and that's, you want that, but you want to just be able to control it.
Or I guess an offense that you're facing this week, how important is it for your own offense to keep a hold of the ball and maintain that possession?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a big piece of it. That's been our best recipe when we've had some sustained drives. But as you know, against very quality teams, you have to be able to find some big plays as well. You have to be able to get it in the end zone. So there'll be a balance there, but it's always a team effort. We have to play good in all the areas. And I think that was part of it last year. It's always part of it in games. When one side or the other is having issues, the other side has to pick it up. When you go bad in two phases or the three phases, it's big shifts are going to happen, and that you have to try to offset.
Mark, as frustrating as the way this game has ended the last 2 years has been, do you think the team, do you draw any confidence from the fact that
you have led this team in the second half?
Well, every year is totally different, and so I think we know we had our opportunities, but those are gone. You have to learn from it, and if we get in the same position, you have to learn to make the plays now, and but that's really not much different if you think about it through this season. With each and every game, there's plays that have been made that help turn the game, and then there's some missed opportunities. But that's football. That's every week.
You guys, in the second half, you got to play some guys, once you got some separation. We haven't seen a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
Anybody stick out to you?
I think Jordan Bonner's a guy that looked good out there athletically. I think he's really got a good chance, and so he was one that just jumped out at me right away. Jordan Griffin is another one I really like. I really like him. I think he's got a very bright future. He's really got great demeanor for a freshman. He really cares and is very he's precise in the way he practices and learns and pays attention to his keys and has the ability. So anybody that has that kind of work ethic, I'm really high on. And he's a freshman. It's late in the year, and he still has that focus, and he has that mental capacity to handle it and learn and grow. So I'm pretty fired up about him.
Mark, this is your fourth year in this rivalry. You've played and coached in some big rivalry games across the country.
Yeah. Right in there with it. It's always fun because every situation you're totally ingrained in this situation. So to me, this is the most important one, and it's right now, and we have another great opportunity. And so it's a rivalry, and it feels like that. Certainly, as I mentioned, we are building our program to elevate us to make this game more prominent, nationally, and that's with us as we improve and get our program better, which we're doing and we're going to do. It'll have more national attention. But some of the other ones I've been in have been phenomenal experiences. I was really hot there for a while too. I was in good shape with a lot of those. Absolutely not. I have no clue. No, just nope. I'm sure Mitch and our administration will, fight to put us in the best situation we can for our fans, and but we'll be happy. We'll be happy to go somewhere.
Was Joe Kemp the most joyful guy in the locker room? Was there pictures of him simulating the bowling? Was pretty good.
It was important to him. He's a guy that he's been here through all the ups and downs, has some really high moments, some lows, and he's a fighter, and he's a competitor, and it's not always easy. He hasn't been perfect, none of us have, but his intentions are always right. Even early in the season when things were going wrong, I saw some real frustration in him, and it came from a good place because he wanted at the minimum of that, of a bowl game. And so when, he is a guy I've noticed, through the year, but he's emotional and he's a fighter, and you love that.
Do you remember back his first week of practice here as a freshman? You
My
guys
comment,
were
yeah.
nice in the side.
Yeah.
You kind of seemed like you knew what you had.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. And that's why I say, is there frustration? Sometimes, absolutely. These guys invest a lot. Look at the work that he's put in, and been here. And yeah, that was the first week, I think. We were doing some board drills, and I made that comment. But that's who he is. He's a tough guy, and he's a fighter, and he's been that way. And he's helped us because if you didn't have that mentality, as I also mentioned before, with other scenarios, is there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide, and that's the beautiful thing about sport. You either man up or you cave, and he could have done that, and he did not. He's successful. He's going to graduate. He's helped us in any way he could. That doesn't mean he's always liked it or been perfect or other guys come in, but he's accepted his role, and he's been a great teammate, and that's one of the reasons why we got to this point. Guys like that.
You mentioned how the guys may have come into the Austin P game a little more jacked up, and you had to not tone it down, knock it down?
Focus, get them focused is a big issue, you know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
No.
I was going to say, with regard to this game, how jacked up do you think they might be at this point?
Same thing. And again, just like I talked about, John. But they have to. It's not about emotion. We need to have emotion on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in our preparation and focus and intensity during the week to put us in a position to win. Without that, we'll have no chance. And then when we get there Saturday, yes, they have to play with emotion, but you also have to have a discipline. If you also remember in both of those games the last 2 weeks, that emotion has hurt us. You know, we had a guy come off the bench 2 years ago up there when we were in a great spot and get a 15-yard penalty, and that set us back. Last year we got a 15-yard penalty that set us back. So that's the kind of discipline that we're going to need, and they're going to hear about that today.
Is that the message going into last Saturday?
Focus. You know, it's always about that. You know, about the preparation. You know, and you know, and that's, you know, preparation and effort and focus. It's not just everybody's. You know, you get so jacked up to beat somebody. That's not it. You know what I mean? You can't win a game on that alone. But again, without that, you know, it's you know, you don't have much of a chance because you don't put much into your prep. Bunchy's come a long way, and again, his intentions are always good, you know, and those guys being there that year, that group, you know, I remember Darius West, him, all the guys, and a lot of the redshirt guys, and they were there, and they traveled with us, and that was a big part of the team having that kind of intensity too, and you know, they were, you know, they brought something, they helped affect the team in a positive way, just not on that play. Yeah. I one or two of them, I'm not going to pick on any one individual, but I mean, that's pure focus. You know, because you're negating some plays that are just, I'm going to use the word silly instead of stupid. You know, it's just not smart. You know, and that to me is all about focus. Just do your job like you've been doing it. And you know, we have big plays. Both sides, and so.
Lamar gets so much attention, and rightfully so. They got some other weapons on offenses, especially their tight end, Quick.
Yeah, Quick's been around for a long time. Knew him out of high school. He could run like heck, and really, I said it earlier. They're a complete football team, and you know, they're good in a lot of areas and a lot of good players. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Mark, the problems your punter's been having, has that become mental now, do you think, more than anything?
I'm sure. Got any suggestions? Yeah, I call my therapist when I get out of here. I've been busy. Yeah. Pardon me? Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? Anyone else? Not, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Coach, I understand you kind of busted a move in the locker room after the game.
No, I really didn't bust a move in there. Not really. I got in there and Boom was on my chair. I usually stand up and address the team, and Boom was up there dancing, so I just let him go. He looked a lot better than me. So. Oh, I don't know about that. Come on. I'm going to give that to him. I could sing better.